Thank you. Good evening and welcome. This is the regular scheduled meeting of the Wareham School Committee. Today is Thursday, September 17th. Ms. Morgan is unable to join us, and I'm hoping that Ms. Rossi is on her way to join us. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live by WCTV, and a recording is also being made by Ms. Wixton. If we could just rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. First on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to address the committee? Seeing no one, we'll go on to the next item, which is good news. Does anyone have any good news they'd like to share?
All right, so I would.
Okay.
So I wasn't here at the last meeting, and I did watch it, and it was good. It was good to see, all the presentations and stuff. But I think it was at that meeting you had mentioned about the graduation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's been a while, but I haven't really had a chance to comment on it. But I mean, having a student that graduated, it was incredible. It far exceeded my expectations of what it was going to be. The speakers were incredible. The logistics were spot on. I don't think they could have done a better job. And if Miss Rossi was here, if she's going to be on the committee long enough, I would tell her that definitely when her son graduates, it is best to be in the audience.
In the audience,
And
yes.
be
Yeah.
up from both sides. I was really worried about that, but yeah, it was great being in the audience with my family and experiencing that. And that's all I wanted to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
And I'm just glad, I'm sure we'll hear it from the principals, that so many teachers opted to come in these last few days and really start work and start to meet their students, and that's a great thing. I know everyone's grateful for that.
And the other good news today is that there were students in the buildings today for the first time since March 13th. So I'm really, really looking forward to hearing how that went today. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We'll start with the meeting from August 6th.
I move to approve.
Second?
Second. Any discussion?
Yes, hold on. All right. Down around public participation, second paragraph, it says, Mr. Flaherty believes the committee is allowed to speak without a response from the school committee members.
Are you on August 6th? No, you're on a different one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll wait
That's
till we get
okay.
to August 20th. So I've
all
got
right.
nothing to say about August 6th. Yeah. I'm done.
August 6th, you're okay with?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? It's 3-0-0. Next, we'll move on to the minutes of August 20th.
I move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion?
Just as I mentioned, that second paragraph under public participation, I think that should read, Mr. Flaherty believes the public is allowed to speak, not the committee. It's,
Okay.
so I guess I'd take a motion to amend.
Okay. And I had also asked Ms. Wixton to make a couple of changes in that same section under public participation today, just the changing of the spelling of the word council to reflect, so it, the school attorney is what it was
Yeah,
referring to. So, yeah, so
Good
that,
catch.
so she was nice enough to change that today, so she'll make that change for you.
So I move to approve as amended.
Okay.
And I would second that.
All right.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? 3-0-0. And then finally, from September 3rd.
Move to approve.
And second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? 3-0-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the appointment of Christine, I don't want to say your name wrong. Suko, as the interim business manager. So Mike, you weren't here at the last meeting. Christine, if you want to come up and sit, that'd be great. So Christine was introduced to us, and so tonight she's here so that we can take a vote to approve that appointment. So I'll give you the opportunity to ask her any questions if you...
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually really excited to see you here. When I heard your name before you had submitted, a mutual acquaintance of ours really described you as quite a rock star, actually. So,
That's great.
yeah, no. So I don't know if it was mentioned during your last visit here, but did you go into the your experience on the MSBA making a new school in Monomoy?
A little bit into that, yeah. When I was down in Monomoy, I was, I headed up the OPM search. So, I had a group of, I think, 12 people, and we went through the process to pick the OPM. And then, I left before the school was built, but everything was approved before I left, and, that's the experience I've had. And then I had a little bit of Whitman-Hanson also with, drawing down the money and making sure that the right records go to the MSBA in order to get payment. So,
Okay. And MASBO, can you just describe what it means to be like a member of the MASBO and what you did to achieve this award?
oh, the Don Johnson Award?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for efficiency and effectiveness, I
Yes.
believe. Yeah, so when I got to Whitman-Hanson, we looked at the bus service. We used First Student at the time. We didn't have our own buses like we do here. So we looked at changing the times, the start and stop times of the school, so we didn't have to use as many buses, and I think that saved about $500,000. And then we also looked at outsourcing custodians, which they did, and that saved about, I'd say about $300,000. So those were the two big things that occurred when I was there. So, and MASBO is an amazing organization. I've been part of it for more than 15 years. And I was just telling Kim today that I've done several presentations at the annual meeting, as well as some of the bi-monthly meetings. So,
Now I was actually kind of really interested in watching some of the presentations at the annual Mass conference. And they made a big deal of like what a seal of approval it is when you get like a district that's got like, the accreditation from MASBO. I don't know what they call it. What is that? That you meet certain criteria and you're doing all the right steps, all the right ways and stuff. Oh, that's not ringing a bell.
it's not ringing a bell, no. But it's a fantastic organization. They really have some great professional development, and I actually have one next Thursday. Of course, it's virtual, but and also just being part of the listserv for all the business managers. Like yesterday, we were on call. We're going to have another one Monday. Next Wednesday, we're going to talk about questions on the end of the year report. There's always some glitches that comes from DESE and vice versa. So, yeah, I mean, they learned a ton, and that they're a great resource and great support system.
Yeah.
So.
And you sort of answered my other question. I want to know if you were working on the end-of-year report.
Yes.
And when we might expect it.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you when you're going to expect it, because I'm still waiting on some numbers from the town. But I think over the last week, there was probably close to over 150 districts that are filing for an extension, because the towns are a little bit behind because of the COVID that hit in March. So
Yeah.
it'd be better if I had the numbers from the town, so I don't have to do it twice.
Right.
So as soon as I'm going to get rocking on that. So I did start a little bit today, because there is some things that you can do ahead of time. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, like Mike said, we're happy to have you here, so.
Yeah, it's been the first 3 weeks have been great.
Good.
Everyone's been so helpful and kind, and it's just been great.
Awesome.
I'm really happy to be here, too.
Great.
Okay, so tonight, then we're going to vote to approve the appointment as interim business manager. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And I second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Just the only problem, I read the contract, I just wish it was more than a 1-year contract. I just want to be on record with that.
Okay.
And I understand it's not a statement about you at all, but I get that, but I just wish it was more than 1 year. That's all.
Well, I think as an interim, that is
Yeah.
probably best practice for an interim is 1 year, I would
Yeah.
say.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you soon.
You will. You know where you can find me.
Okay, next on the agenda is the back-to-school update with the principals.
Okay, so we would like to start, and we have a short little slideshow for you to show you some of the events that have happened. Again, it's such an exciting time. We're so happy to welcome our teachers back, our paraprofessionals, all our staff, and most especially our students. So you saw many smiling faces, and our principals are here to just give you a brief overview of what happened in their buildings and would answer any questions you may have. So we'll start with Deaconess.
Hello.
Hello,
welcome.
good evening, school committee. Can you hear me? Great. So excited to begin this school year. We began with our virtual DECUS. I don't know if you've been able to see the uninterrupted and gone in through, but our teachers and paraprofessionals and staff have done a beautiful job of building an online school for us and built these wonderful pages to give all their information and their schedule, and it's very transparent. So if you haven't had a chance to look at DECUS, please do, because you're going to see even myself as a character here. My office is there, everything is there. We have the nurse's office even virtual. It's quite unbelievable. So I want to thank Laura Pohl, the staff, for putting this all together. Ms. Russo is a big help putting our virtual DECUS to life. So thank you for that. And we have had students in today. It was our first day with students. It was remarkable, wonderful. All of our students arrived today and on time, ready to work with smiles. Well, I couldn't really see their smiles because they were doing a very good job of wearing their masks. But we had so much fun, and they were so happy to be back at school. And the staff, it just brought so much energy to our school, and the staff was so excited to receive them. So we're off and running at DECUS, and I'll take any questions.
How many actual students were there then today?
Today I had 11 total. I will have more on Monday. I'll have some preschoolers coming in on Monday, so we're rolling out a couple of preschool classrooms on Monday.
Did you have something like?
Mr. Brijoli sort of asked what I was going to ask, but so are they in the building or are they outside or?
We were both. They were both
Both, yeah.
inside and outside today. It was a beautiful, nice, cool day today, so they were both in and out.
So about 10 students spread across how many classes?
So 3 classes today.
Okay, what, all grades or?
Nope, it was my learning center with Miss Skolnick.
Okay, yeah.
Right, I had Miss Baleo's class for ASD, and I had 5 students in my TLC program today.
Okay, great. Awesome.
All right, well, thank you. I'm so
I
happy
just
to
wanna
hear that
share-
everything went really well.
If I can also, Chair, I just want to share my numbers too, just to let you
Sure,
know just
yeah.
where I am with, so for hybrid, we have at Deacon's, it's still right where we thought in the summertime. I have 352 right now that are hybrid from K to 2, and for remote, I have 139 remote students. But it keeps changing the number. We have some flexibility going on with our families here, because enrollment is continuing. There are changes being made. Average class size for hybrid right now for Monday and Tuesday, and on a Thursday, Friday is about 9 students each, so 9 and 9 is 18.
So,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, no, go ahead, Kevin.
Are you set with your staff knowing who is coming back or who is going to be remote?
Yep, we have all of that completed. It's a little bit changing, but yes, staff has their class list. They know who's coming Mondays and Tuesdays and who's coming Thursdays and Fridays, and we're ready to go.
So as far as your numbers go, how much flexibility do you have? And is there going to be a time when you have to then say no if someone wants to make that change?
It's fascinating. I still have some flexibility. We're lucky at Deacon's that most of our rooms are spacious. We have big classrooms at Deacon's School. The original setup is big, so I could accommodate up to, if I had to, 15 students.
Oh.
So right now I have about 9, 12 to 15, depending on the classroom size. But, so I have some space.
That's good.
Yep.
So the students that are doing remote, how many kids are in a session each?
My remote numbers are a little high for my classrooms. I'm an average of 22 students. But there's flexibility with that because the online teacher can work in the mornings and the afternoons with, with groups, and we break out into Zoom sessions, so
Yeah.
we have small breakout groups.
And so obviously remote is remote. They're not like, streaming the live class that's there. They're doing their own thing.
Well, everybody's remote right now, so we're all,
Yeah, but-
we're all doing it together in our home rooms right now. When we go hybrid, there'll be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous. There will be some live video feeds going on, as well as videos that we'll tape and work through. Yep. And other Zoom times.
And I've been hearing, like, when the teachers have been returning, they're returning to, like, empty classrooms. Like, everything's taken off the walls and everything, right?
No, we still have laminated posters on the walls. If you
do?
saw, I have Jeeps. I don't know if you saw that
saw
clip.
that,
Yeah. We're a primary school, so we want to make it student-friendly.
Yeah.
So we still have we have posters and things of that nature to make it a student-friendly school,
Good.
while also accommodating our 6 feet spread.
Yeah.
When you talk about things being laminated, so this was a question, is the paper on the wall, it's because of the cleaning that's happening? So I know you talked about laminating everything, so that eliminates that problem.
Yeah, we laminate a lot at Deacon's School. We have a very big laminator, and it's used quite often. Mr. Santos changes that rule. Just a matter of fact, yesterday morning. So, and we thank him for his service doing that, because we do it.
So I
A
just
lot.
wanted to point that out, that's
Yeah.
why.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Now I understand. Yeah.
Right. When we do the hydrostatic spraying, what it will do is put a fog or a mist throughout, and then it will settle down, and anything it touches, it first gets wet, and then it dries, and that's part of the sanitation. So if you have paper or some kind of material that will get wet, not a plastic or wood or anything like that, then after a period of time, it would start wearing.
Yeah, so I mean, related story, I guess, like at work, especially at the beginning, they were going pretty gung-ho, and they were spraying down the phones and everything, you know, and, I mean, the phones were breaking, you know, the numbers didn't work anymore, you know, so.
All right, well, thank you for
Point
coming
taken.
to share.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Good luck.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Minot Forest.
Hello,
Good
welcome.
evening.
Welcome.
So all this planning that we have been doing since March 13th, the months, the summer, it's finally here. You know, yesterday was our first day of school. So all the work that we've been doing really worked well in our favor. So we've done a lot of communication with families throughout this whole time. As principals, I know we've all been doing Zoom meetings with our families. I had a PowerPoint presentation that I did with the Zoom. I've made sure I've posted all of that for the families to have on our Facebook page, on the website, emailing families, making the phone calls to everyone, answering questions on Facebook. So it's been a lot, but I feel like we've been able to help with their anxiety as well. The students did come in today, and I didn't realize, I knew I would be excited. I didn't realize the amount of joy but comfort that I felt when I not only saw the students, but I saw staff members that I haven't seen in months other than Zoom. That doesn't count. It was really such a nice feeling to see everyone and almost a sense of normalcy to have people back in the building. So we truly did miss them. So we have, in grade 3, we have 111 students who are hybrid. 57 of them are remote. In grade 4, we have 83 students that are hybrid and 54 students who are remote. So we have our classes set up. There are teachers that are teaching the students who chose the hybrid plan, or the families that did. We have teachers who are teaching the students that chose the 100% remote plans. So kind of separated them out in that way. That's how we're doing that at Minot. Obviously, everyone's remote to begin with. So we felt that that was working well. We have teachers that are teaching in teams, so some might teach the ELA and social studies, some are teaching math and science. Some teachers elected to go back to the traditional way of being self-contained, and they'll teach all subjects. So they'll have their students all day with them. So I like to give the teachers autonomy to choose how they want to teach and how it's going to work for them. So we've been able to work with them in that way. So yesterday was the first day. So we had some, issues as far as technology and families trying to get on. So lots of phone calls to try to tell the families how the students log on to their Chromebook, how they find Google Classroom, how they accept it. So we really worked a lot yesterday. It was a true team effort. Secretaries, assistant principals, the dean, me, teachers. Today was a lot better. I think it was a lot calmer, so not as many questions, which was really great. And then today was the first day, so obviously the students that came in off the buses, parents were dropping them off, lots of smiles. They were just really excited to be at school, and for them it was getting back into the routine. So I popped into classrooms where the students were. They were working really well. I popped into some Zoom classes today just to say hello to the students, and they were all excited just to see, people there as well. I really have to, and I think I'll speak for all the principals, thank the custodians for all the work they've done over the summer. You mentioned the paper on the wall, so we have taken paper off of the wall. We're going to be doing some window painting so that there'll be some decoration that we don't have to worry about getting wet. So whether it's the crayon markers or we're ordering some of those so that we can kind of make the rooms look,
That's a good idea.
decorate them a little bit. And then the other thing the teachers had to do was remove all the excess furniture. So we have to make sure we have enough space in the room. So bookcases had to come out and shelving had to come out. And that was, again, a lot of work for the custodians to have to move all of that out of the building. So I can't thank all the custodians in the district enough for all the work that they've done. Mrs. Chandler mentioned the website, Wareham Interrupted. That's been great to have everything there. We all have our Bitmoji people that are there, our classrooms that are there. So it's just a fun way for the families to really connect with the teachers and see everything. So, and other than the unexpected fire drill today on day one, the students did really great with that. So that just shows the resilience of kids. But they did a great job. So, and we got the Chromebooks out. We had a couple of distribution days to make sure the families could come and get the Chromebooks. So it really has been a smooth start, I have to say.
Good. How many students did you have today in the building?
11.
Same, okay. And I saw some of what you posted, you know, your welcome back letter, and so, yeah, there's so much information for the parents. That's really great. Do you have any kids who who haven't responded, who haven't?
Yes, I have 10 students in grade 3 who haven't picked up a Chromebook yet, and 8 in grade 4. So we made phone calls to those families today. If they didn't answer the phone, we emailed them as well. So a couple of them are still in transition. Some of those may be students in like one of our separate programs that don't need a device, but we wanted to call to be sure.
All right, does anyone else have any?
Percentage-wise, how much staff would you say is in the building?
Other than the separate staff,
Well, all of them.
all of them, I would say we probably have about 25 to 30%.
Okay. And I should have probably asked Ms. Chandler as well, but all right, that's good to hear. Yeah. Okay.
All right, great, thank you very much.
Kevin, did you have something?
I'm good.
Sorry.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The middle school, Mrs. Cote.
Hello, welcome.
I'd like to just start by saying that I owe a big thank you to my entire staff, custodians, secretaries, teachers, paraprofessionals, every single person that works in my building. This has been a hell of a summer. And we couldn't be in the place that we're at without all of their hard work. Today was an amazing day. I never thought I'd see kids back in the building this year, and they walked in, they were happy. I had about 40 students today in 5 classrooms and 3 different programs. Within that, we had probably about 30 staff members working with them, and you know, just helping them get off the bus, get on the bus, and just to make sure the flow went well and everything went smoothly from the beginning until the end. The parents were happy, the teachers were happy. And I believe the students were very excited. So that was exciting to me. Yesterday and today, we had about 50% of our staff in the building working remotely, and they were just happy. And it was very strange the first day to see teachers Zooming from their classrooms, because we hadn't really done that before. But we received a ton of calls the day before we started. We received a ton of calls yesterday, emails, and that died down today to just a few. So I think we're in a good flow of everything. I have currently 539 students at the middle school, 193 are remote, and 338 are hybrid. It's about 64, 65 at each grade. It just worked out that way, almost to the exact number. So it's about 1/3 of my building that's remote. I have 27% of my students are special education. And I've tried to get out information to parents as much as I can. I held 3 Zooms. I've posted on our website. Wareham Interrupted, the teachers have really reached out ahead of time. We've had emails out there. We're doing Facebook posts. So we're really trying to keep parents and the community informed about what's going on. That's about it.
When I said that to Joan, I meant that for every school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's so much information out there. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Does anyone have any
Is the
questions?
how's the technology holding up so far to start?
So far, so good. We had one issue in a couple of rooms with the Wi-Fi, and it was just because it was unplugged over the summer, and it hadn't rebooted correctly yesterday. So I think we have that under control. But and last year, actually, in the building, we had no Wi-Fi issues at all, and we had Chromebooks. So we are getting new teacher Chromebooks. We're having some issues from home with Zooming and that type of things with the old Chromebooks, but those are on their way. So
You talk about technology. I saw something about a tech ticket, and it's not just the middle school, it's everywhere. Is that new this fall, or was that?
I think we've had that on our site, the
What
tech
was it?
ticket, technology ticket, yeah. I think
Oh,
we've had that on the site, so they just
Okay.
parents just have to fill out the form if there's any type of issues. Even if there's issues with getting into Google Classroom, we have Mr. Cannon at my school, and he'll call and walk parents through Google Classroom and setting things up, and so there's a lot of support technology-wise.
That's great, yeah. That's great. Okay, Mike?
Yeah, so you packed a lot in there, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but how many students did you have in the building?
40, about 40,
40.
yeah.
And you have about half the staff in the building.
Yes,
That's great.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, we're really excited, and, things have just, we've planned, but you never know until you go live. And I kind of like this with 40 students, because then, once we get into October and we have half the building in,
Yeah, and I'm glad you're all really commending, the staff, especially the custodians, because it's just becoming more and more clear to me, like how much they're on the front lines right now. I mean, it was the bus drivers when they were dealing with the public and the free meals.
yeah.
But I mean, I hate to say it, but for example, if a kid is symptomatic and happens to vomit, I mean, that's gross on any day, but that could be a biohazard, and the custodian's
yeah.
cleaning that up, So
And there's a lot of work required within the buildings just for disinfectant on a daily
Yeah.
basis, so definitely.
Will you envision once staff are coming in, this is actually for all the principals too, I know everyone feels somewhat isolated because of the nature of technology and the virus. Will you ever be able to get a staff meeting again? Or rooms big enough to be able to spread out staff so you can have questions and help?
So
Or
we are
no?
fortunate enough to have a large auditorium, so I could definitely I can fit my staff within the auditorium. They would have to sit up front near me, which they don't like to do, but we could definitely distance ourselves.
You know you won't have the mute button anymore, though.
And they might have to pay attention to me and not each other, but,
All right, well, thank you. I'm
All
so
right,
glad to
thank
hear it
you.
went really well.
High school now.
Okay, so I think everyone pretty much stole my thunder, but I'll try and rehash some of it. But yeah, I think it's important to recognize, like, everyone in the district, from the superintendent all the way to the students, everyone has played a big part in getting us to where we are today, and I'm very excited to be in our second day of online from remote for most, but we did have, as you've heard, substantially separate students in today, and that was really exciting. And they did a great job maintaining their masks for the day, and it was awesome to see them come off the bus. It was, and they all wanted hugs, and I'm like, I had to give them the Heisman. I said, no hugs, no hugs. We did some knuckles with a few, but they were excited. It was great to see them. It was a great day, and I really feel great having those students in there and getting the ball rolling, and hopefully soon be in a hybrid fashion with a good percentage of our students. But again, just I can't say enough about the staff. Just a huge team effort. We had a lot of things going on in the summer, and then just to be able to pull this off. And to put in perspective, the custodians probably moved half the furniture out of every classroom. So I'll give you a visual. My cafeteria has been filled 1.5 times with furniture. So that's what we've taken out of classrooms to make sure we follow the regulations in regards to 6 feet. So it's been a Herculean effort by all of them. Secretaries, I can't tell you how many phone calls, no matter how much you put out there, there's still people that have questions even though it's posted on the website. And I think they just want that assurance, they don't want to read it, they want to hear from a human being, and that's fine. But it does require a lot of hours every day answering emails and phone calls, and they've done a great job. And then the teachers with the 12 days of PD coming in, and the paras as well, getting those 12 days, and I think it just gave them a huge stepping off point to be successful and to be comfortable, most importantly, to transition into a full remote learning setting for many of them. So that's been huge. I think we've worked really hard to make sure we communicated with parents and families, especially the last few weeks as we got closer to the start. We even made a video, which was great. We've gotten some good feedback from all that. The Chromebooks, the technology department, I said top down, it's been a huge effort on everyone's part, but the technology department with a very small staff, has really stepped up and done a great job of just making sure we have what we need, getting the Chromebooks out, collecting them, getting them ready to be handed back out again shortly thereafter. And, 88% of our students have picked up the Chromebooks. It's probably a higher number because there's some students that may have transferred out that we need to figure that out. And then moving on, we've got the classroom set up and ready to go. We've done more HVAC work in that building than I think we've done in the last 30 years in 1 year. It's amazing. And it's going to be great for years to come. So very excited about not having to deal with, multiple issues every year with the HVAC. So that was huge. Our numbers for hybrid, A through K is 213, L through Z is 198, remote is 189. So it's almost, I call it a third, and a third is basically where it's at. And the first 2 days have gone really well, as you heard from my colleagues. The PPE, we've got all that in place, and the decals are on the floor, and we've got the one-way going. And again, sub-separate starting today was huge. Last week you saw the Wareham Interrupted. That's an amazing platform for our families and our students. And we had our first meeting with students today with over 100 students. We had about 148th graders log into our, at the beginning of the school year, we always have meetings with classes. So today was 8th grade, tomorrow's 9th grade, and it was pretty cool to see that number eclipse 100, because in the past, we couldn't get over 100, so it was great having that option as well. So that's pretty much it at the high school. Certainly answer any questions you may have.
How many staff do you have going strictly remote? Do you know that yet?
None.
Okay.
What was that question?
I just wonder were there any staff that would just be going strictly remote as opposed to teaching in the hybrid model?
So yeah, when we go hybrid, they're going to be all in.
All in, they have to be certified, highly qualified. I can't just take 25 kids and say, okay, this teacher's teaching that kid, those kids. It's a little different at the secondary level. And I think it's going to be the best because I've got the highly qualified teachers working with the students that signed up for their class in May, thinking we might be back in a traditional mode. So it's, the caseload, so to speak, hasn't changed for the teachers, but obviously the venue has, and it's going to be a very tough task that I know they're up for, to kind of be teaching in two different modes, so to speak, to the same content.
Will all teachers be in two modes, or will some be strictly teaching only those kids that opted for fully remote, or how?
They'll all be teaching in two modes.
So yeah, you reminded me of the video, and the video was really good. Who assembled that? Oh yeah, really, really good job. Yeah, who was the kid in the hammock? Oh, Mike, come on.
Was that Will?
That was awesome. Oh. I don't know if you answered it already, but how many kids were actually in the building?
Today, I believe it was about 30 students in the building.
Okay.
So I was in the back when the buses came off, and I saw about 25, and I know a few were dropped off.
And I know you said that all the staff is going to be there, but what percentage-wise are they there now?
It's a pretty large percent. I would say close to 40%, which
Okay.
was great because I was able to Zoom bomb a bunch of classes today and say hello to the students, and the same thing yesterday. That was really cool.
Oh, great.
So I think, again, high school is a little bit different. There's certain classrooms that you can't replicate at home.
Yeah.
There's other classrooms that you absolutely can replicate at home. But some of the teachers just need what's in that classroom, and it's not like you can bring those things home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Scott, you talked a little bit about HVAC, so that reminds me, Dr. Shaver-Hood, could you just talk a little bit about the air quality testing for the benefit of the whole committee?
Sure.
That's happening?
So, one of the pieces that we have completed, besides cleaning the ductwork, sanitizing the ductwork, we've had all of the HVAC looked at, and anything that's not in working order, we've asked them to please get it fixed. It's in the process of being repaired or replaced. Much of it is completed. And so the final step of what we have done is we've contracted with a company to come in and test the air quality in every classroom and office space. And then if, we will know if there's if there's a problem in a certain room, then we will bring in a company to look at the ventilation and what the exchange rate is. It's been finished. I'm waiting for the report. In all honesty, I would be surprised if we had any area that came back needing some additional help. And we know that because as we've asked the person doing the testing, every time we would see him, how's it going? And he would always say thumbs up. So we feel pretty confident with that. And then once that's finished, then we will have completed the air quality HVAC work. We have one major project that will be completed at the high school. It's probably going to take us about, 8 weeks?
I hope
9
not.
weeks?
I hope closer to 4, but it's definitely a few weeks out.
Yeah, we have to order the parts. We'll have to have a crane come in and lift it onto the roof and do the assembly. But as Scott has said, and this has not been done for years. And so we've been able to really take advantage of the situation and make repairs that we've been wanting to make and have not been able to because of financial constraints. So in one way, this has certainly been a huge benefit to us in addressing the needs that needed to be.
Take the silver linings wherever we can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Glad to hear it went well today.
So if I could just say a few things, I'm very happy that the principals shared accolades about their staff, but I have to tell you that if it wasn't for the building leadership and how they've worked with their staff, we would not be in the position that we are. So I feel very fortunate that we have the principals that we do and the leadership there, because hard work doesn't even begin to describe what our lives have been since March. Very little time off this summer, if any, and it's been nonstop. Even if they were on vacation, we got to see where they were at many times because they were Zooming with us, and we really enjoyed some of the views we saw. But it certainly speaks to their professionalism, their dedication, and their willingness to do whatever it takes to make it work. So, I just can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad you said that. And I was sort of thinking of the same thing on the way into the meeting today. And I'm thinking, Mr. Palladino has a saying. He likes to say that he put Wareham students against any other students in the state or wherever. And I mean, with bringing our principals back and seeing them back, I mean, I'd put our principals and and assistant principals against anyone too. They're great. I wouldn't want anyone else.
I thought you were going to say, he says, you have to be on the job.
There's that too.
I heard that a few times, yeah. Yeah, but that goes too, because you've all certainly been on the job, constantly since March. And that goes for Dr. Shaber-Hood and Dr. Schwam and everyone. We're really fortunate. And so I would refer back to my quote from the valedictorian at our last meeting, where Wareham is a community and everyone comes together, and that has certainly happened in this case. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the acceptance of gifts.
Yes. I would like the committee to please accept the 2 vinyl banners from Target Graphics donated to the elementary school building project, total value $240.
Okay.
So moved.
And seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
And if the committee could please accept the memorial bench in honor of Trey Miranda donated to the Wareham High School. Trey attended the high school and lost his fight to cancer, and the bench has been donated by Marge Rakowski.
So moved with pleasure.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
Just where is that bench right now?
I do not know the exact location, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the report of the superintendent.
Yes, I would like you to please approve the bill and payroll warrants that are listed on the newsletter.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded?
Any discussion?
I'm just making Jamie's job easy.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 300.
And finally, I would just like to remind everyone that we're still distributing meals, which we will continue to distribute meals throughout the school year at the locations to please pick up lunch and breakfast. We're averaging about 600, so we're down a little bit from the summer. And one of the reasons why we can only distribute to Wareham students now. When we were distributing over the summer, we were allowed to distribute to any student that would come. So we've seen a little bit of a decrease. We hope to see a bump once we come back to school, but we certainly are still very busy doing that. And I would urge people to please go pick up the meals if so needed. And finally, on the website, if you have questions, please call. You have the Wareham Interrupted, and that's where we will be sharing our lessons, what's going on in the buildings, etc. So that will really be the key area to go to, and it's marvelous. They've done a great job, and will continue to update it regularly.
Okay, thank you. Could I ask you a question about the food distribution? The students, when they're in school, will go home with some of the food, is that true?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We're still working out the final details just because we don't want to hand out the meals to students as they leave the building because they'll be eating on the bus and we really don't want students eating while they're riding. So we're just in the final stage of how we're going to work that through.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the report of the school committee. Did you have an update on the policy review committee?
I'll just mention pretty much what we have in a press release. So the Wareham School Committee Policy Review Subcommittee is looking for parents. Specifically, there are openings every year for one parent from each of the schools. That would be the John W. Deacon Elementary School, the Minot Forest Elementary School, the Wareham Middle School, and the Wareham Senior High School. We're accepting people who are interested to please contact Miss Wixton, Jamie Wixton. Her email address is, I'll say it, then I'll spell it, jwixton@wareham.k12.ma.us, and it's her name is jwixton@wareham.k12.ma.us. And again, so we're accepting the interested folks who are interested until September 23rd, and then Mr. Bergioli and I will be choosing them on September 29th. After which we'll come to a consensus on what dates and times are best to meet as a group. But it's looking like we're probably going to end up meeting through Zoom because there's just not a room that could hold us. I mean, that's 14 members between school committee members, parents, administrators. If everybody shows up, that's 14 members, and the public is welcome too. So we put the feelers out, and there's just not a room big enough to meet socially distant with that many people. So we'll probably be doing it through Zoom, and we'll follow all the proper protocols for the public to watch it live as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a school building committee update. There really isn't a lot of updates from the school building. The next meeting of the full building committee is on September 28th. It's a Monday night. The building is still 2 weeks ahead of schedule. I did have the opportunity to be up there yesterday, and the Wareham Fire Department was up there, which I thought was interesting. And they were doing walkthroughs before the walls are closed in, so that they can take a look at the building as it goes. So I thought that was really interesting, that they're really working together. The people building the building are working together, with the town. So like I said, that next meeting is September 28th, so I'm sure after that we'll have more updates to give. Next on the agenda is any other business? Does anyone
All
have
right,
any other
so
business?
I actually should have mentioned this during the superintendent's report, but we just got this like today. but-
Right, I think she let you know that she was going to give it to us today, but we wouldn't be discussing it
All right, but
today.
just off the top of your head, is there anything concerning in here?
No, there's not. We saw a few lines that we need to work with payroll to get the payroll into the proper account lines, but other than that, it looks pretty good.
So for example, like where would PPE come out of here?
Well, actually, PPEs are not coming out of the LEA budget. What we're doing is, as you know, the CARES grant, we received 507,000. Some of the PPE is being purchased from there. Then the town also has money that they've been allowing us to purchase some PPEs as well. However, whenever we use that money, we have to put the purchase order, and we always have to have a place to go to get the money in case we were turned down once it goes to Plymouth County.
Oh, okay.
So like with all of the HVAC work that we're doing, we believe it will come out of the CARES money. If it does not, then we have to have it kind of a marker that we're holding in case it will not. That's where our CARES money is holding that marker. With any hope, once all is said and done, we will have the majority of our CARES money still remaining that we could roll into next year if that's at all possible. That's really our goal.
But we still did rehire all the people we said we were going to rehire with the
Yes.
CARES money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But with that CARES money, what we had to do is we had to take items from the budget, such as different supply lines, material lines, and put it over with the CARES budget, because if we didn't, we would be paying 9% to MTRS,
Right,
which would
right.
take out of
Okay.
the CARES.
And you had mentioned something about that before, yeah. And so we had no layoffs, right? I mean, other than the expected ones at the end of last year. Like so is everybody back that was supposed to come back?
Everybody is back that is supposed to come back. We still had some layoffs that we did not recall because it wasn't in the categories where we were recalling. And because of being in a hybrid situation, we do not need 3 cafeterias running, so we have furloughed some cafeteria workers as well.
So I guess that was my next question. Like, how many have we furloughed?
Right now, I think we furloughed 6 or 8, and what we've done is every person that is furloughed, we've invited them to be a bus monitor, to be a seasonal custodian. If they had any interest, we could find another position for them. Nobody had any interest.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, there's no busing on Wednesdays, but we still need drivers to drive food service, to drive out to the distribution spots. We have out-of-district students going, and so we would love to have more bus drivers.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
We're looking for monitors, we're looking for CNAs, we're looking for seasonal workers. We just are struggling with people to apply to jobs right now. And I don't think we're the only district. From what I'm hearing, a lot of areas are.
What about substitute teachers? How does that look going forward? And have we done it, have we bumped up the pay at all for substitutes for this year, or kept it the same?
We haven't bumped up the pay. Right now, we've hired 2 permanent subs per building, maybe 3 in a couple of the larger buildings. And right now, we think that we've covered everything, And that was a discussion that we had today at our admin meeting. And we're going to hold right now and not hire any more subs.
Yeah.
If we see the need, then as we move forward, we will do that. One of the things that we feel very strongly about is if we're going to hire a sub, we want them with us the 4 days a week, because we really don't want people coming and going that are not with us, because we want to keep as contained as we possibly can. And that's why we, wouldn't let you come through the buildings, because we really want to keep them isolated.
All right. Just so you know, they're paying $35 an hour for bus drivers on the Vineyard, and they still can't get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know two companies that we've used went under during COVID, so that makes it even tighter to try to find out of district driving. So that's a challenge for us.
Yeah.
Right now, we're doing okay. I think the piece that we're really having to work through is how do we make sure that we get our kids to and from school, still get the meals out, and get the buses sanitized. So that's really a dance that they're having to work through.
Did you recruit any of the drivers from those companies that unfortunately?
I think that I would be standing in a line of 100 people to try to recruit. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So while we're under any other business, I see Mrs. Fay here. I'll give you the opportunity to speak if you wanted that opportunity. You don't have to, but I see you here, so I'll give you that opportunity.
Is this one on? No? Yeah? Good evening.
Good evening.
I think the principals gave us a nice recap of how our first day with our sub-separate programs in the schools went. I was a nervous wreck all day, and I kept texting everybody because it was, as I said all day, eerily quiet. And, I think it was the extensive amount of planning with the principals and the related service providers and administration and paraprofessionals and teachers all through the summer, right up until the very last day, that made today run so flawlessly. And it really was, I was happy, I was surprised. I think I expected something to happen, and nothing. It was just like the most beautiful day. It was so exciting to see them all getting off the buses and just running into the buildings, they just couldn't wait to be back. So it was great. I had the opportunity to speak to a lot of the teachers and paraprofessionals and service providers. They were very excited to be back, excited to be with the kids again, excited to touch base with parents. So it was really a good day. So out of our out-of-district students, 44 students, we have only 4 that are going remote. The rest are going in person. So that's putting a big strain on transportation, but they're doing a great job at keeping up with that. We're still looking for drivers, for vendors, and that's like a constant thing with us. But hoping for the best. And the preschool is going to be, the sub-separate preschool starts on Monday, so we're excited for that too.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that it went so well today. I can't imagine seeing the kids come to school after so long. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Fay? No?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, if there's no other business, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.